Hello and welcome to How I See It. I'm your host, Robert Shoemake, and this show is about accessible technology and how it can work for you. Here on the show today, I have with me a fellow advocate, Heather Sturgill. Welcome, Heather.
Hi, thank you for having me on, Robert.
I asked you to come because I want you to talk a little bit about some of the accessible technology that you use in your daily life and in your home.
Two of the main things that I use on a regular basis are the Echo. It's the Amazon Echo,
Mm-hmm.
and that's integrated with. I use it every day, but in my new home where I'm going, it's integrated with the August Home Lock,
Mm-hmm.
and those two things are amazing pieces of technology. The Echo, with that, I literally say Alexa, which activates the program,
Right.
and then I can have it play music. I can add stuff to my calendar. I can listen to podcasts. I can put together shopping lists, and so many more things. It's also going to be connected with my lighting. So, in the
Mm-hmm.
evening, I can say, Alexa, turn on kitchen lights, and it will. Or when I'm upstairs getting ready for bed, I can say, Alexa, turn off all the lights. So then I know that all the lights are turned off, whether I've been downstairs recently or not. And then it also has alarms. You can wake up, timers for cooking. And then they're always adding more features to it all the time.
Right, right. Now, I've been going back and forth with the Google and the Alexa. Um, what is your take on them?
I think Alexa is better because there's more variety of products. I think there's the potential for Google to catch up quickly. But if you're comparing Google Home, the base Google model, with the original base Echo model, the Google Home is about $30 more.
Right, right.
And they only have different. They've got a small version that is comparable with the Echo Dot, and that's the Google Home Mini. And they're comparably priced. It's $50 each. But Echo also has Echo Show and Echo
Mm-hmm.
Spot, and Google doesn't have that.
Right.
So with Echo Show and Echo Spot, those are screens. The Spot is about probably the size of a big grapefruit, maybe a little bit bigger than that. And it's got a screen on it, so you can use it like an alarm clock, and you can see things with it. But you can also see video with it. If other people, you can actually make phone calls with the Echo products, and you can make video calls with the Echo Show and the Echo Spot, and you can also use it to check in on people. So if I have this with my aunt who she's had a hip replaced, I can check in on her. If I haven't heard from her and I call and she's not answering, I can have it hooked up that I can see her space if she allows. So if it's already set up that she allows that, that's not something I can just like spy on people with.
Right, right.
So it's nothing like that.
Yeah.
But that is a feature that's pretty cool.
Right, exactly.
And now I don't know if you know this, but Microsoft and Apple are coming out with their versions of it.
No, I didn't know that, but my next question to you was going to be, is the Amazon Echo compatible with Apple and the iPhone?
Currently it is, because there's not much that needs to be compatible except the telephone. And that's just a phone number and access to your contacts list. So that's not a big issue. Now, Google, Android used to be more compatible with Microsoft, and they're pulling back a lot of their products. So, the Microsoft Office products, they're not as compatible with Android phones as they used to be. So hopefully that'll change, because that's one of their strengths that they used to have. Now, there is a strength that Google has that Amazon doesn't.
Yep.
Because Google has their strength is their search engine.
Oh, yeah.
And Amazon is more of a, it interacts with other tech. It's more of an assistant. Its strength is not its search engine.
Right. And hopefully one day that will become a strength, because I know I like the search engine a lot.
But you can also order things with the Amazon Echo. You can, not just add it to your shopping list, but you can say, buy it for Amazon Prime, and actually have it delivered.
Right. Is there anything else you want to talk about as far as what you use in the home?
Well, we've talked about the tech assistants, but we haven't talked about the August locks. And that is one of the things that, since I don't have use of my hands, that's one of the things that I absolutely love, because I can approach my door.
Yeah.
And because it's synced with my phone, then the door automatically unlocks, and then I just have to push my automatic door opener button, and that actually physically, pulls on the door to open it or close it. And then it automatically locks behind me, and I don't have to think about it. And if I'm away, I can give other people a code, and then it'll track when they come in. So for example, my assistant in the morning that helps me get out of bed, I don't have to give her a key.
Right.
She has a code, and if for some reason, I don't ever foresee this happening with her, because she's fantastic, but I have heard it happening with other people, that nutty things can happen, and you can just turn off that code, and then they no longer ever have access to your house.
Right.
It's not like you have to physically get the key back from them.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I also have a electronic door, but it's not connected to my iPhone or anything. I just have a small remote that I push, and it automatically opens the door.
Yeah, this automatically opens the door, but it doesn't automatically unlock it. So with the August lock, it can automatically unlock it for anybody without their having to push my button on my chair. And then they also have a doorbell cam and a keypad. So we can have a keypad outside, so if my phone stops working, I can get someone to press the keypad for me. And if someone rings the doorbell, I can answer it remotely with my phone, or answer them remotely. And so it seems like I'm home, and they're less likely to break in.
Great. Well, it was good to hear about some of these interventions that they have gotten for people with disabilities to make their lives a lot better, and they can be more independent. I appreciate you coming on the show, and I'm sure there'll be an opportunity for you to come back again.
Awesome. I've enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
I tell you what, I'd like you guys to keep watching, and if there's anything that you'd like me to talk about, you can always reach me here at Hamilton County DD Services. Just call, ask for Robert Shoemake, 794-3300. Thank you, and see you next time. Hello, welcome to How I See It. I'm your host, Robert Shoemake. This is a show about accessible technology and how it can be used. Today on the show, I have with me a colleague of mine, Deborah Jones, who is a system analyst and a person who has been very helpful to me when using this accessible technology that I use. Welcome, Deborah.
Thank you, Robert.
And what we're just going to basically talk about today is some of the technology that I use and other technology that's available out there on apps, software, and even hardware that you could use in your everyday life to help you in whatever you choose to do. First of all, I would like to ask Deborah if she would just basically talk about some of the technology that you have worked with me on with the screen reader JAWS and the iPhone, the voiceover. So can you give a small description of each one and how I've used it in the past?
Sure. So currently, Robert, you've been using JAWS, and JAWS has allowed you to interact in your day-to-day work, create your emails, create your documents, and by way of the software, being able to speak back to you and let you know what you've typed to speak to you, what your emails are. So that basic text to voice has been a great benefit for you. And the software itself is kind of cutting technology that will allow someone who may have a visual limitation to interact in a day-to-day opportunity so they can communicate. So you can communicate and you can receive communication because the software is smart enough to provide you all the details and information in any document, whether it be electronic, as well as you're also using the scanning software. What is that?
Open book.
Right, Open Book. So Open Book is still, that's another product as well, that it's a scanning software, but for anything that's on paper and not already electronic, that software allows you to have your emails read to you, to have any document read to you so that you're familiar with what that communication involves.
And I would also just like to mention that although JAWS and Open Book were primarily created for people with visual impairments and who are blind, it also works well for people who are print impaired, who don't read typical print for whatever reason, or have dyslexia or difficulty just reading.
That's right. So these products end up having a greater value than to someone who may have an actual visual limitation.
Yes.
And then we have the voiceover on the Apple devices. And voiceover, I learn a lot from you, as I've always said, just simply watching how you use the product. And the fact that you can tell your Apple device, whether it's an iPhone or an iPad or any other Apple device, that if you want to make a phone call to someone, you can simply put yourself in a recorder mode and just ask the device to call Deborah. Or you can also ask it to make an appointment on Monday at 1 p.m. and it sets up your calendar.
And once again, this is something that not only can someone with a visual impairment, but no matter what your disability was, you don't even have to have a disability.
Right. So,
I know sighted people who use it.
Correct.
Correct.
So it's valuable to someone with abilities or with the right. So I find myself more, so I probably use it more now, watching you use it, because actually just recently I needed a document that someone had in hard copy, but virtually they were somewhere else. And rather than typing it myself, I actually asked that person to speak the details of that document into a notes file. And they did that, so that was a real convenience because within 10 minutes, I had a document that already had all of the details in it.
Mm-hmm.
So this technology now is beneficial to someone with disabilities, but also for people who have many abilities. And it's an all-inclusive product. More and more people are sharing it.
Right. And it's cutting edge. It's very, there's millions of things that you can do. There's more and more things coming out every day. There's one app that I know a lot of people who are visually impaired, people who have autism they're beginning to use the GPS apps that you can download. A lot of them are free. Some of them have charges with them. But they allow you to do what they call turn-by-turn navigation, which means you can walk down the street and every 10, 15, 20 feet, it'll give you a feedback of where you are, what street you're on, what direction you're in, so it can be very, very specific to whatever your needs may be. And that's just one of the apps. And we'll probably discuss it in more detail at another show.
And I think all in all, what we're finding out is that basically there are many apps that exist now that will help not only people who may have a disability, but they are apps that are across the board. And as time goes on, we began to share those. And what's nice about them, they're common day-to-day apps that just simply, they're assistive apps. So they're assistive to everyone. Your calendaring features to organize your day, your phone features, your GPS, I'm going to McDonald's, etc. And they exist and they can be used.
It's incredible. I mean, I'm old school, so I've been around for a while. And just to think 20, 30 years ago, this technology wasn't even available. And now, a person with a disability, no matter what the disability is, there is some kind of assistive technology that can help them. It's all about trying to find it, apply it to your life. So in the future, on future shows, we're going to have some guests that are from different areas of life. So please stay tuned on a monthly basis and check the show out. I'll have all kinds of information for you. And thanks for being a part of the show. Welcome to How I See It. I'm your host, Robert Shoemake. This is a show about accessible technology and how it can be used. With me, I have Brandy
Jones.
Brandy Jones. How I forget your name. And she's the affairs director of Sorta/Metro. Welcome.
Thank you, Robert, for having me on today.
I just want to talk about some of the accessible features that the buses have, the bus stops, and the streetcar.
Yes, well, Metro is extremely proud to say that our entire fleet is 100% ADA accessible. So anywhere you want to go in our system, our buses are equipped to facilitate that. Mm-hmm. Each bus has either a wheelchair lift or a ramp that allows for individuals using a wheelchair or any other type of mobility device to easily board our buses. Also, in the front area, we have a reserved seating area, if you will, that is for senior citizens as well as those who have disabilities. So it allows for easy onboarding of our buses as well as easy exit without having the hassle of trying to get past other individuals, or if you are in a wheelchair, for example, you have enough space to secure your wheelchair in that front area for a safe and comfortable ride. So anywhere you want to go in our system, our buses are equipped to get you there. That's the first thing. Secondly, if you have a visual impairment, all of our buses are equipped with audio announcements. So if your bus is not just sounding the names of the stops or letting you know where you can transfer, you just simply ask your bus operator to turn that on. So that feature is on every bus, and it will tell you as you are approaching a street, so you have a good idea of what intersections you're at or where you want to get on and off. So that's usually very helpful for some individuals who have a visual impairment. Also, if you are using the assistance of a pet to help you get around or navigate, or a service animal, those animals are welcome on board our buses at no additional cost to you. So we have tried to put things in place to make sure that individuals with disabilities are able to easily access our service and use it with comfort and ease.
Okay, can you talk about the real-time bus stops that actually have the big screens?
Yes.
And they're audible?
Yes. Some of our larger transit centers, for example, at Government Square downtown, which is our largest hub, each of those stops have a real-time screen. So it tells you exactly when the next bus is arriving, which helps take the guesswork out of wondering, is my bus, is it running a few minutes late, or is it going to be pulling up? How much time do I have to grab a cup of coffee, or what have you? So those screens are, of course, at Government Square. They are in the Uptown Transit Center district, as well as the other centers around town that are transit centers. So we are able to put those screens in those locations. Metro is also looking to build 3 more transit centers sometime in the next year, one in Northside, one in Walnut Hills, and one in Oakley. And those centers will also have the real-time signs, which are very helpful. And at each of those stations, there is a button you can push for audio announcements. So if you're standing there and you're not able to visually see the signs, it will read to you each of the next buses that are due at that stop. And so that's another helpful tool. And also, even though we have a lot of technology that tells you when your bus is coming in real time, we do know there are individuals who still like the paper, so they're still holding on to those paper schedules. And so, of course, if you have a visual impairment and you aren't able to easily read the schedules because the time points are printed kind of small on some of them, so that we can get all the time points on there, you are able to request a large print schedule. So those
that's something new.
Yeah, those are available upon request.
I also noticed that on the telephone, when you call the scheduling line, that now for the last year or so, you've had the option of having the real-time schedule read to you.
Absolutely.
By using the numbers on the phone.
Absolutely.
And that is awesome.
That is our real-time info line. And we are just fortunate to have a fantastic CEO, Mr. Dwight Farrell, who, when he came in 2015, one of his biggest goals for the system was how do we use technology to make sure that using our system, using our service, finding out when your bus is coming, if it's running behind, where to catch it, how do we use technology to make it as easy as possible to ride our service? And so we know individuals utilize many different ways to find information. So whether it's on your mobile phone, whether you want to use the paper schedule the old-fashioned way, if you will, or if you want to call on the home line. So we have the real-time info line for individuals who may not feel comfortable yet using their smartphone to look it up online. They can dial that number. Each of our bus stops has a 4-digit code in the corner. So once you dial that line and enter the 4-digit code, it will tell you when the next buses are due at that stop. So we have really tried to make sure that whether you're using our website, your smartphone, the info line, or the real-time signs, so there's many, many options for you. And to add to that, we opened up our real-time feed to anyone in the city, any developers who want to use that data to create a real-time app. And so several of them have taken us up on the offer. And one really good one that we like is Transit App. and that is a national app that tracks our buses in real time. And so it will tell you exactly, it will even show you a little icon of a bus on a map, and you can put in where you want to go, and it will pull where you are, and it will show you the bus coming to you at your stop or where it is along the route. So if you're like me and I'm usually running late in the morning and I'm trying to catch my bus down Witten Road, I'm usually looking at the bus as I'm trying to chase behind it. So it kind of gives me a great idea as to how far I have to go or where the bus is. So I need to push it a little harder, or if I got a little bit more time to get there. So that's been a really helpful tool.
And what I really like about it, because I have the app on my phone, and I mean, I can just come out of the house and don't have to look at a schedule, get to the bus stop, and check the app, and it'll tell you the next 3 buses
Yes.
that are coming. Now, the only part I don't like about it is the fact that it doesn't tell you which bus it is until it's about to come in the session.
Okay.
It'll tell you Winton Hills, Bond Hill, and then Evendale, but it won't tell you which one is first
Okay.
until it's like 10 minutes.
Well, we're always looking for ways to improve, so that feedback is really helpful. But speaking of apps, Metro just this past year launched Cincy Easy Ride, which is an app. It's free. You can download it either on your Android or iOS phone, and you can purchase your fare on your smartphone. So if you rather use a monthly pass or a day pass or a single ride ticket, you can pre-purchase and store those fare payments in your phone. And so when you're ready to ride, you just activate it and show it to your operator. You don't have to worry about carrying that physical pass or your monthly card with you, or if you forgot it in your purse, or digging around for change. So that has really helped making payment of your fare a lot easier. And also, just this past month, we launched Cincy Easy Alerts. Now, this is really helpful. It will tell you by either text message or email if your bus is on a detour, if there's a service interruption, so you don't have to take the guessing if my bus stuck in traffic or did something happen. So if you just go on our website, which is go-metro.com, and you can sign up for Cincy Easy Alerts there, and you can put in which routes you ride and want to get notifications for, and it will take all the guesswork out of riding. So we're doing a lot of new, innovative things to make sure that riding our buses is extremely easy, knowing what bus to catch, exactly when it's coming, and even paying your fare right from your smartphone usually.
I also noticed that the streetcar is, I dare to say, 100% accessible, and it's also very easy to access. It speaks as well. So you want to talk about that?
Yes, the streetcar is only one of 2 streetcar systems in the entire nation that has 100% low floorboarding. So when you walk up, if you use a wheelchair, if you're using a stroller, or even a bike, all of the platforms are 100% level with the streetcar vehicle, so you can roll or walk right on board. There is no steps, so all the hindrances, if you will, are out of the way, and the streetcar has an audio announcement. It's actually Lachey, one of the famous singers from here. He's the voice of the streetcar, so he announces all the stops. So we're really making sure that transportation in Cincinnati is extremely accessible to all individuals.
Oh, well, thank you, and I enjoyed talking to you. Always enjoy talking to you.
Thank you so much, Rob.
Knowledgeable about everything with Metro.
Perfect.
So, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you for being a loyal rider, too.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for joining us here on How I See It, and we'll see you next time.
Hi, my name is Gary Brock, and I work for the Hamilton County Developmental Disabilities Services. In this tutorial, we will look at the features of the My HCDDS Provider Search. We'll learn how to use the Residential and Day Services wizard to help guide you through your first search. Then you will learn how to use the search panel for finer control of your search criteria and access powerful features like the geographic filter. After that, we'll step into how to work with the search results, the provider entries returned from your search, how you can sort, pick columns, export data, or even email providers directly from the tool. Lastly, we'll take a closer look at the details of a provider to review the key areas that will help find the best choice of support for you. But before we get started, we should briefly cover what the MyHCDDS Provider Search is and what it is not. The MyHCDDS Provider Search is a tool created by the Hamilton County Developmental Disabilities Services in southwestern Ohio. It includes public information about developmental disability providers found in Hamilton County, Ohio, and surrounding areas. The MyHCDS Provider Search does not include information about doctors or medical institutions, nor does it include information about all developmental disability providers from across Ohio or the United States for that matter. For an exhaustive list of developmental disability providers from across all of Ohio, please visit the Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities Provider Search at the link below. All right, with that said, let's get started. To access the MyHCDDS Provider Search, first navigate with a modern browser to the URL listed below. The home page includes a brief description on how the provider search works, the residential and day services wizard, and our commitment to be open to feedback and suggestions. The residential and day services wizard will lead you through a series of guiding questions to help identify which services will best meet your needs. This is especially useful for first-time users who may be unfamiliar with picking a provider. Clicking on each answer will lead you through the wizard, giving feedback on your progress until you reach 100% in the progress bar. After the final question is answered, the search will be submitted with the most appropriate criteria selected and return all of the provider entries which match. Let's step through an example. In this example, we are interested in residential support. We would prefer to work with an agency provider. We have a level 1 waiver, and we would like to receive homemaker personal care. Now that our search has been submitted by the wizard, we should take a look at how many providers were returned. Wow, 180 is a lot of providers to review, so we will want to review our search criteria. Let's take a look at the variety of options to further refine our search. From the top, click on the Search Panel button to open it. Note that the Agency Provider Type button is selected based on our response to the questions from the wizard. Each search filter is fully described by clicking on its corresponding help icon. The search panel offers easy access to continually refine your search for a provider by including any or all of the filters listed. To illustrate this, we should first review the service which has been selected previously by submitting our search through the wizard. As you can see, the Homemaker Personal Care Service under the Level 1 waiver is currently checked. And as mentioned, if you are unfamiliar with the service, you can click on the help icon for a full description. Now we can include another search filter by adding a search address and search radius. This will further refine the provider entries by only returning those with a location within 2 miles of our address. After the new criteria has been added, click on the Map Data view to display the map, and the pin to hold the search panel open. Then click on the Search button to resubmit our search. As you can see, after refining our search geographically, we've reduced the total to a more manageable list of 6 providers. This time we have opened the list and the map data views. The map will display locations for each of the providers in the list below. If you hover your cursor over any of the locations depicted in the map, an information box will appear with details on the provider location. These locations can also be clicked to select or unselect any of the providers. Note the selected providers are kept in sync between the list and the map views. Below in the list view are a few additional features. The field list dropdown will allow you to display in the list view which fields are most meaningful to you. The export and email buttons are also affected by which fields are currently selected in the field list. For example, let's unselect the website field, select the primary distance field, and the contract email field. Because we have added a geographic filter to our search, the primary distance field will display the distance in miles from our search address to each primary provider location. The export button will allow you to extract the displayed fields from the search providers to either a CSV text file or to Microsoft Excel. The email button will allow you to generate a new email from one of the displayed email fields. Note at this time, an email can be generated using either the primary email address or the contract's email address. Now that the primary distance field has been added, click on the column header to sort by distance. Note that the first provider listed is now the closest in our location. There are a number of things you will want to consider when choosing a provider. Location may be an important factor for you. Let's take a look at the details of the closest provider on the list. Click on the provider's name and you will be redirected to their detail page. At the top is a list of convenient links to further help pick the right provider for you. Below, you will find a number of sections that cover basic information, locations, contacts, certifications and contracts, profile experiences, and any public documents available for the provider. You'll want to take a close look at all of this information when reviewing a provider. If the current provider looks promising, you may want to bookmark the page in your browser for follow-up at a later date. To review other providers from your search results, click on the Return to Search button. Thank you for watching this tutorial on the MyHCDDS provider search. I hope that you will find it useful when looking for the best choice of support for you. If you have any comments, questions, or ideas for improving the tool, click on the Contact Us button at the bottom of the page. Goodbye, and have a great day.